Well, thanks so much, Yao. And after a year off, March Madness and the NCAA tournament has returned with a bang. A year of epic games and fascinating upsets is led by the Syracuse men's and women's teams. Yet, while the games have been great, Unpeeled Sports Reporter Sacchi explains that the NCAA has shown an unfair preference to the men and their needs over the women. Chris, first of all, before we get to that, I want to ask you, how are the men's and women's team doing in the tournament right now?
Well, let's start with Jim Boeheim's bunch. He's been here for 45 years. Why not give him that respect? His team has shocked the world. That 2-3 zone against non-ACC teams is a threat once again. And his son, Buddy Boeheim, has led the way. So this has become a national story. And if you said this team was one of the last 16 left in January, February, it would be a shock. But Buddy has dug them out of this hole time and time again. He's continued averaging close to 30 points per game in this tournament. And how about the women's team? Their first round matchup was a blast, a rematch with South Dakota State University, who beat them in the last tournament 2 years ago. This time, the SC women get the W in the first round, and then as you can see in the highlights, they got to play one of the best dynasties in sports history, which is the UConn women's basketball program. They lost big in that one. Well, let's not forget Tiana Monakakia overcoming breast cancer last season and returning with a vengeance this year and finishing out her great Syracuse career.
Now, Chris, you mentioned the men's team first before the women's team. Well, the NCAA seems like they're putting the men before the women. What mistakes have they made in terms of the NCAA women's tournament?
Another piece of paper here, Max. I don't even know where to start. I mean, a lot of things have circulated on TikTok and Twitter, which has called for a lot of activism. The first thing has been the vastly different weight rooms that both teams got. As you can see here, as soon on the video, the men got almost a full gymnasium, while the women at first got just a bar or two. And then here with the photos, if you look at the men's photos, it's pictures galore. Any team you can want really is a huge amount of photos. As for the women, exactly none. Goose egg when it comes to them. But Max, the most important thing for me is the health and safety of the players, right? Pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, there's no way that they're risking their health. And the women got cheaper tests, more prone to false positive. So all these things you can talk about, but I think the health and safety for me was the most important.
Our sports reporter, Sacchi. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you, Max.
We'll be